Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the podcast. I am your host, Laiba, and today we are going to talk about a problem that almost every English learner faces.
Now let's jump into the video. If you find it helpful, please like, share, and subscribe for more English learning content.
Have you ever felt like this? You watch English videos and understand many words. You listen to English songs and understand the meaning. You can even read English articles or subtitles. But when it is time to speak, your mind suddenly stops. You know the words, but you cannot speak clearly. You want to speak English confidently, but you feel nervous, shy, or confused. Fear of mistakes, translating in the mind, lack of speaking practice, and simple daily habits that can help you speak English more naturally and confidently. This podcast is specially made for beginners and English learners, so I will use very simple and easy English. So relax, listen carefully, and try to learn something useful from every part of this podcast. And I promise, after listening to this episode, you will understand your problem much better and learn practical ways to become a more confident English speaker. So now, let's begin today's interesting topic: why you understand English but can't speak. Now let us talk about the biggest problem many English learners face. A lot of people think, if I understand English, then I should also speak English easily. But in reality, that is not true. Understanding English and speaking English are two different skills. For example, a person may understand almost everything in a movie or YouTube video. They may know many English words. They may even understand grammar rules. But when someone asks them to speak in English, they become silent. Why does this happen? Because listening and reading are passive skills, but speaking is an active skill. When you listen, your brain only needs to understand information. But when you speak, your brain must do many things very fast. For example, think about words, make sentences, remember grammar, pronounce correctly, and answer quickly. That is why speaking feels difficult. Many learners spend months or even years only watching videos and learning grammar, but they do not practice speaking regularly. As a result, their understanding becomes strong, but their speaking remains weak. This is completely normal. Think about it like learning to drive a car. You can watch driving videos every day. You can understand all traffic rules, but until you actually drive the car yourself, you will not become a confident driver. Speaking English works the same way. You cannot improve speaking only by listening or watching. You must practice speaking again and again. And remember one important thing: you do not need perfect English to start speaking. You only need confidence, practice, and patience. Little by little, your speaking will improve. Now let us talk about another very big reason why people cannot speak English confidently. And that reason is fear. Many English learners are afraid of making mistakes. They think, what if my grammar is wrong? What if my pronunciation is bad? What if people laugh at me? What if I speak slowly? Because of these fears, they stay quiet. Even when they know the answer, they do not speak. This is one of the biggest problems in language learning. But here's something very important to understand. Making mistakes is a normal part of learning. Nobody speaks perfect English in the beginning. Even children make mistakes when they learn their first language, but they keep speaking every day, and slowly they improve. The same thing happens with English learning. If you wait to become perfect before speaking, you may never start. Remember this: fluent speakers are not people who never make mistakes. They are people who are not afraid to speak. Confidence grows through practice. Every mistake teaches you something new. For example, a grammar mistake helps you learn better grammar. A pronunciation mistake helps you improve pronunciation. And a speaking mistake helps you become more confident next time. So never feel embarrassed about mistakes. Instead of saying, I speak wrong English, say, I am learning English. That small change in thinking can make a big difference. And always remember, people who speak more improve more. So speak without fear, speak slowly if needed, speak simple English, but keep speaking, because every time you speak, your English becomes stronger. Now let us talk about another common problem that stops many people from speaking English fluently. And that problem is translating in the mind. Many English learners first think in their native language, and then they try to translate everything into English. For example, before speaking, the brain does something like this. First, you think in your own language, then you search for English words, then you try to make a sentence, and after that, you finally speak. This process takes time. That is why many learners speak very slowly or suddenly stop during conversations. Sometimes the brain becomes confused because translation is happening too fast. And when you cannot find the correct English word quickly, you become nervous. This is completely normal. But if you want to speak English more naturally, you must slowly reduce the habit of translating. Instead of thinking in your native language first, try to think directly in simple English. Start with very small things. For example, I am tired. I need water. Today is very hot. I am going to school. This food is delicious. These are small and easy thoughts, but they train your brain to think in English. At first, it may feel difficult. Your brain may want to return to translation again and again. But with daily practice, your mind will slowly become faster. And one day, you will notice something amazing. You will start speaking English without translating every sentence. That is when speaking becomes more natural and more fluent. So remember, fluent English is not about speaking difficult words. It is about thinking simply and speaking naturally. Now let us talk about another important reason why many people understand English but still cannot speak it well. And that reason is very simple: lack of speaking practice. Many learners spend most of their time watching English videos, studying grammar, learning vocabulary, or listening to podcasts. These things are helpful, but there is one problem. They practice input more than output. Input means listening and reading. Output means speaking and using the language. If you only listen to English every day but never speak it, your speaking skill will grow very slowly. Imagine this. Can a person become a good football player only by watching football matches? No. They must go to the field and practice. Speaking English is the same. You must train your mouth, your tongue, and your brain to speak English regularly. And the good news is, you do not need expensive classes or foreign friends to practice speaking. You can practice at home very easily. For example, speak in front of a mirror, read English sentences loudly, record your voice, describe your daily routine in English, or talk to yourself for 5 minutes every day. At first, your speaking may feel slow or uncomfortable. That is normal. Every fluent speaker once felt the same way. The secret is consistency. Even 10 minutes of daily speaking practice can improve your confidence step by step. And remember, speaking is like a muscle. The more you use it, the stronger it becomes. So stop waiting for the perfect time to speak English. Start today, start small, and keep practicing every single day. Now let us understand another problem that many English learners face during conversations. Have you ever experienced this? Before speaking, you feel confident. You think, yes, I can speak English. But when someone suddenly talks to you in English, your brain becomes blank. You forget simple words, you become nervous, and sometimes you cannot speak at all. Why does this happen? Because during a real conversation, the brain feels pressure. Your mind starts thinking about too many things at the same time. For example, is my grammar correct? Am I pronouncing this word correctly? What will people think about my English? What should I say next? All this overthinking creates stress in the brain, and when the brain feels stress, speaking becomes difficult. Another big reason is trying to speak perfect English. Many learners want to sound exactly like native speakers, so they try to make perfect sentences before speaking. But conversations happen very fast. There is no time to think too much. That is why fluent speakers focus on communication, not perfection. Remember this important point. People do not care about perfect grammar in normal conversations. They only want to understand your message. Simple English is powerful English. You do not need difficult vocabulary to speak confidently. You only need clear ideas and regular practice. So next time when your brain stops during conversation, do not panic. Take a small pause, speak slowly, use simple words, and continue speaking. The more conversations you practice, the calmer and faster your brain will become. Now let me give you a very simple action plan that you can start from today. If you really want to improve your English speaking, follow these small steps every day. First, listen to English daily. It can be a video, podcast, or short conversation. Second, repeat what you hear. Try to copy the speaker's words, pronunciation, and tone. Third, speak for at least 5 to 10 minutes every day. You can talk to yourself or describe your daily routine. Fourth, do not fear mistakes. Mistakes are part of learning, so keep speaking without stopping. Fifth, try to think in English during the day. Start with simple thoughts, like your actions and feelings. If you follow these steps regularly, your brain will slowly start adapting to English, and your speaking will become more natural and confident with time. Remember, small daily practice is better than long, irregular study. Now we are at the end of today's podcast. Today we talked about an important question: why you understand English but can't speak. We learned that this problem happens because of fear of mistakes, translating in your mind, lack of speaking practice, and overthinking during conversations. But we also learned something very important. This problem is not permanent. Do not wait for perfect English. Start with simple English. Start with small sentences, and keep speaking every day. Even if you are not perfect today, that is okay, because every fluent speaker was once in your position. Thank you so much for listening to this podcast. If you found it helpful, please like, share, and subscribe for more English learning content. And remember, practice a little every day, and your English will improve a lot over time. Take care, and goodbye.